So, just to be clear, this is Anime Collective. I guess I don't know if this is a company or it's just her. Um, but it says 10 manga recommendations you don't want to sleep on. So, let's see what this is about. I saw this was a day ago, so this is very, very like, recent. So let's see what she has to say and what she's recommending. Hopefully, it's a mix of like action and stuff. I'm pretty sure there's some romance in there, but I hope it's not just mainly romance or just like inclusive stuff. Maybe it's like just shonen stuff, inclusive stuff, romance stuff, a mix of stuff, but not just one particular genre because that's boring. All right, let's go.
Guys, Kristen from Anime Collective. So in this week's video, I wanted to recommend some more manga for you guys. Now, of course, it goes without saying that this is not the only manga I recommend for you all to check out. I have more recommendation videos on the channel if you'd like to look into more series I recommend. That said, here are 10 series I recommend checking out. First up is The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All, which quickly became a favorite for me after its debut in Japan in 2023, and I'm excited that it's finally arriving in the US for print in October 2024, thanks to Yin Press. It's one I would have definitely had on my Manga You Need to Be Reading in 2024 video. As someone who loves music, I found myself resonating deeply with the main character's connection over their shared love for it. The story follows Aya, a stylish high schooler who falls head over heels for an employee at a local CD shop. He's mysterious with an amazing sense of style and taste in music. Little does she know, though, this employee is actually her female classmate, Mitsuki. Mitsuki, who usually keeps to herself, finds herself in quite a predicament as she navigates Aya's crush while keeping her true identity hidden. Despite the challenges, Mitsuki starts to consider the idea of getting closer to Aya. In addition to the dynamic between Mitsuki and Aya, I love the relationship between Mitsuki and her uncle Joe, who owns the CD shop. Their bond adds a heartwarming touch to the story, and Joe's humorous presence adds comedy as well. For these reasons and more, The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All is a manga series that excels in every aspect, from its incredible art and its unique black, white, and bright green color palette, to its relatable characters and impeccable fashion sense. The series draws you in with its engaging story and characters and keeps you hooked with each new chapter. I've talked about Togen Anki on the channel
Sunny
before, but
Estrada
I
1.
wanted to highlight it again
Best viewers
because it's
on.
definitely one I would have added to my new Manga You Need to Be Reading in 2024 video that I recently put out. It's being printed in English in 2024
Hey,
under the
Sonny.
title
What's going
Togen
on,
Anki
Sonny? What's
Dark
going on,
Demon of
bro?
Paradise, and I'm eager to see it translated. I'm drawn to shonen manga with an edge, and Togen Anki is that and so much more. I also find its protagonist to be interesting. Shiki, with his only bloodline and hot-headed yet kind-hearted nature, reminds me of shonen MCs like Shinra from Fire Force. But what sets Togen Anki apart
It
is
does
its
look kind of
fascinating
Fire Force inspired. Kind of like a mix between Gachakuda and Shonen and Shonen. Fire Force. It looks like that in that sense. Hi again. Hey Alex, what's going on? Hope you're having an awesome day. Yeah, but it looks like that a little bit based on the
Ryaga
recommendation.
Samurai. I reading that.
Oh, you're currently reading it. How is it?
world and unique character abilities. In this story, we follow Shiki, whose blood is that of an Oni, while his father belongs to the Momotaro clan. Typically, those with Momotaro blood hunt Oni, but Shiki's father defied convention by refusing to kill him as an infant. Instead, he adopted Shiki and raised him, despite the challenges posed by Shiki's rebellious attitude and volatile temper characteristic of Oni blood. But when a member of the Momotaro agency
Silver
murders
Comet.
Shiki's father, he vows to
Well,
avenge
Fire
him.
Force and Soul Eater have unique art styles.
I'm not gonna lie, based on this story, it sounds a little bit like
Silver
a
Comet.
mix between.
Wait, what is the name? I missed it.
I'll go back in a little bit. It's the story seems similar to
Ryaga Samurai.
Kakabauchi and
Pretty good.
what, Blue Exorcist? Let me go back.
But Shiki's father defied convention,
it's
draws you in with
called-
its engaging story and
the anim-
characters,
the
and
manga
keeps
is
you hooked
called-
with each new chapter.
Um,
I've talked about Togen Anki on the channel before, but I wanted to highlight it again because it's definitely one I would have added to my new Manga You Need to Be Reading in 2024 video that I recently put out. It's being printed in English in 2024 under the title Togen Anki Dark Demon of Paradise,
oh,
and I'm
Ryaga
eager to see
Samurai.
it translated.
Tugen
I'm
Aki.
drawn to shonen manga with an edge, and Togen Anki is that and so much more. I also find its protagonist to be interesting. Shiki, with his only bloodline and hot-headed yet kind-hearted nature, reminds me of shonen MCs like Shinra from Fire Force. but what sets Togenaki apart is its fascinating world and unique character abilities. In this story, we follow Shiki, whose blood is that of an Oni, while his father belongs to the Momotaro clan. Typically, those with Momotaro blood hunt Oni, but Shiki's father defied convention by refusing to kill him as an infant. Instead, he adopted Shiki and raised him, despite the challenges posed by Shiki's rebellious attitude and volatile temper characteristic of Oni blood.
Ryaga
But
Samurai.
when a member of the Momotaro
The MC
agency
does
murders
remind me
Shiki's
of
father,
Rin
he vows
sometimes.
to avenge him.
I gotcha.
As Shiki hones his
It
abilities
just
and
seems like a mix of Katrabachi with the revenge thing with his father getting killed off, and then like the father didn't kill him off because of like his Oni blood. So it kind of reminds me of like Lexus, because wasn't that Shiro's job? He was supposed to, I think, eliminate both Rin and was it Rin and Yu-Gi-Oh.
to control his Oni blood, the question remains,
Or at
will he
least
be
Ren.
strong enough to survive the dangers that await him? Shiki's discovery of his Oni heritage and his recruitment into Rakasha Academy add a lot of depth to the story, introducing a phenomenal cast of characters with interesting powers along the way. The art is amazing, and the series isn't afraid to embrace its darker, more graphic elements, which only adds to its appeal for me. Since it debuted in Japan in 2020, Togenaki is just scratching the surface of its potential. I can't wait to see how the story continues to unfold as it dives deeper into its world and characters. You can shop the first volume of Togenaki on September 17th. As someone who is fascinated by stories that involve cults, whether it be one of my all-time favorite films, Rosemary's Baby, Midsummer, or the original Wicker Man, or anime and manga that feature them at some point or another like Re:Zero or manga like 20th Century Boys, Smiley immediately captured my attention. This new series, which began publishing in Japan in 2021, is a suspenseful and mystifying read about Yushi Kamamome, a freelance writer devastated by the loss of his daughter in an accident. In his despair, his wife leaves him and he drifts through life lifelessly, a shell of his former self. One day, a flyer from a strange religious group called the Heart Laughing Society catches his eye, particularly because it features an image of his estranged wife. Driven by curiosity and hope, Yushi becomes entangled in the dark and sinister world of this cult. What unfolds is a gripping tale of faith and madness as Yushi uncovers the black darkness lurking behind the cult members' sinister smiles. There's something entirely creepy about a smile when showcased in the right context, as seen in horror films throughout time. Smiley not only tells the story in a mysterious way but makes it thrilling as well. It's completely unsettling and one I couldn't put down as a result. Pankotsu Panko is a 10-volume seinen series that's complete in Japan but has yet to be released with English translation. I really hope this changes in the future because it is one of my favorite series that's not only heartwarming but hilarious. The story follows a housekeeping robot who's sent to an older gentleman's house by his family to help him after he loses his wife. However, the way in which she helps isn't exactly conventional. For instance, at one point he asks her to help with cleaning out his storage. She decides to straight up explode the entire area, assuming that he no longer wants to deal with the clutter. This essentially eliminates the target of his stress, not realizing that
she destroyed the entire place.
not everything is disposable, like photos to name a few. Watching our main characters navigate their new relationship and work to coexist with one another is touching. It also makes for some hilarious moments of misunderstanding between the two that ultimately allow them to learn from each other in unexpected
Silver
and charming
comment.
ways. A slice
Dang,
of life
that's
series,
crazy.
this one follows the daily lives of the two, their interactions with others in the town, and more. It has a lot of depth, but it is also quite healing thanks to the ways in which the two change each other's lives. This one is sweet, but it's also one of the funniest I've ever read, so whether you're looking for a good laugh or you're in the mood for a feel-good series, this one is a must. Usuzumi no Hate tells the story of Saya, a girl who wanders the post-apocalypse in search of life survivors and more, reflecting on the world that once was through relics of the past. It really highlights the loneliness that would come with being a survivor. The emptiness that the main character feels as a result is showcased not only through the storytelling but also the imagery. Aside from Blonde, which showcases the vastness of the superstructure that Killy is traversing, few other series have really captured the same feeling until this one. The art in Usuzumi no Hate is beautiful, simple but highly detailed, emotional and symbolic too. Like Blom, a lot of this story is told through the art, and I absolutely love this because it has a lot to say in this department. Sometimes silence is more effective, and a single panel can say more than any dialogue could. While this world is bleak, as with many post apocalyptic series, there is a feeling of hope present in this story. We can learn from our mistakes and, more importantly, rebuild even in the darkest of times. And this is ultimately what this series explores. It's one of those series that comes around every so often that immediately sinks me into its world and shows me from the jump that it's something truly special. While it's not printed in English yet, is one I wanted to highlight because I hope it is soon. This next one, Blood on the Tracks by Shuzo Oshimi, the creator of The Flowers of Evil, which I recently talked about in my best manga under 15 volumes video, Happiness and Inside Mari, is one of the best psychological thrillers I've ever read, and it's my favorite work of his to date. It's unsettling as well as eerie, and if you picture yourself in the MC's shoes, it is a truly terrifying read. Thanks to a chain of events that occur in this series, it gets creepier and creepier as it goes on, but the art further sets its dark tone. Blood on the Tracks is about a relationship between a boy named Seichi and his mother Seiko. But they don't just have any ordinary relationship. She loves him so much she will do anything to keep him to herself and protect him, even if that means doing the most heinous and unthinkable things. Their extremely toxic relationship prevents Seichi from living his life because there are no lengths his mother won't go to keep him under her grasp. You wish for Seichi to break out of this terrible relationship, which is ruining his friendships and preventing him from living a normal life. Throughout the chapters, it's easy to question how someone can become so easily controlled by their mother, but Oshimi does an incredible job at explaining the how and why behind a toxic mother-son relationship. To me, Blood on the Tracks is Oshimi's best work yet, and this is saying a lot because he's created many series that I love. It's a fast and effective read that features a horror that's quiet yet so loud at the same time, and it will make your skin crawl. If you're like me and think that series don't always have to be outwardly scary to be thought of as one of the scariest manga of all time, you'll want to check out Blood on the Tracks. There's a sense of realism to this one that makes it, in my opinion, one of the most unnerving mangas to ever be released. Toilet-bound Hanako-kun is set in Komamome Academy where
Silver
rumors of the
Comet.
7 mysteries run wild.
Hey, what is the
One
name of
such
this
mystery is
channel
one
so I can check it out?
I'll put the name of the channel or the video in the link description, but right now it's called Anime Collective. I put in every reaction I do, I make sure to put the name of the person, name of the channel in the title and in the descriptions as much as I can whenever I'm doing these reactions.
one of our main characters, Hanako-san, who resides in the 3rd stall of the 3rd floor girls' bathroom. When summoned, it said he grants any wish. High schooler and occult fanatic Nene Yashiro heads up to the bathroom to make a wish, but the Hanako-san she meets is a lot different than she expected. One of the things I love most about Toilet Bound, in addition to its characters and its premise, is its art. The panels and character designs are some of the most unique I've ever seen, and I really enjoy the style of the art. If you enjoy stories that are centered around the occult or urban legends, like stories that are full of mystery, or enjoy manga where the main character is a ghost, Toilet Bound Hanako-kun is a must-read. Not only is it one of the most charming supernatural manga I've ever read, but the fact that it's character-centric also allows you to connect with the characters, and they are relatable as well. You can collect Toilet Bound via the singles or the box sets, which are reviewed on the channel if you'd like to check it out. Next, I want to talk about Noragami. In Noragami, our NC Yato is a god, but he has one problem. He doesn't have any worshippers. In order to achieve his goal of becoming well-known and buying himself a shrine, he takes on odd jobs to earn money. One of those jobs leads him to a chance encounter with a girl named Hiyori Iki, who finds herself in an interesting predicament and enlists Yato's help. Noragami's characters all long for something, and it's this longing that drives them. Their aspirations and dreams are relatable, and we watch them grow as individuals, but their dynamic as a group is incredible too. There are a number of likable characters that you'll meet over the course of the series. They are all dealing with their struggles and pasts in their own ways, and you get backstory that further connects you to these characters and gives you insight into what shaped them into the person they are today. There are some sad and heartbreaking moments in Noragami, but these moments are balanced with comedy and heartwarming interactions between the characters. You'll feel all sorts of emotions while reading Noragami, and this is part of the reason it's so successful, but it's the characters and the connections you'll make with them that will connect with you the most. What I love so much about this next one, Frankenfran, apart from its absurd body humor, is its humor and how it perfectly blends comedy with horror. I love dark humor, as seen with other manga I love like Dorohedoro. There's a cheekiness to these types of series that makes them as charming as they are mortifying. However, I will say that Frankenfran's humor is more black than it is dark. While the humor is a bit of an acquired taste, the social commentary and the way it explores human nature make it well worth reading. Frank and Fran is about a girl named Fran, a soft-hearted patchwork girl created by the notorious Dr. Madaraki, who loves nothing more than helping others. But her idea of help might not be the same as yours. Even when her experiments go according to plan, they often have unanticipated consequences. Playing with life and death can be a messy business, but whether in her lab or making house calls, you can always expect the unexpected with Fran. Frank and Fran may be shocking at times, but it's full of heart as well. It's one of the best black comedies I've read to date. I know the reviews for this one, which are quite polarizing, scare some people off from checking it out, but I hope more people give it a shot and see what they think about the series themselves. And finally, I want to recommend Eden It's an Endless World by Hiroki Endo, who you may also know as the creator of All-Rounder Meguru. It's one of the best post-apocalyptic sci-fi manga of all time. It also has a cyberpunk feel and is more violent and dark, which puts it more so in the category of series like Akira. Even though it's one of the best released so far, it's still a highly underrated sci-fi series, so I wanted to take the time to highlight it. One reason why this could be is because it's so expensive to collect right now, especially given that the individual volumes from Dark Horse are out of print. I'm hoping that Eden will be released someday, as they did with the Berserk Deluxe editions, but as of now, I started collecting it via the singles here, but they were really expensive, so I decided to go with the French Perfect editions instead, since they are much cheaper to collect and are beautiful editions to read. And the interconnecting spines are such a nice touch. Eden It's an Endless World is set in a post-apocalyptic future where a devastating virus that hardens the skin and dissolves internal organs is ravaging humanity. Those who aren't immune are left severely crippled, or if they can afford it, live on with cybernetic enhancements. In a world thrown into chaos, a paramilitary group called the Propagator has toppled the UN, setting up its own government with the intent of taking over the world. Elijah, a young man searching for his lost mother, travels towards the Andes Mountains with an artificially intelligent combat robot. When he encounters a group of freedom fighters opposed to the Propagator, a diverse cast of fascinating characters enters this story, and there's so much more than this series that meets the eye. Eden It's an Endless World is set in a cold and harsh world, so you see the absolute worst of humanity in this manga. Despite this, you get some moments of warmth and light between the characters, but even still, it is a brutal read. It focuses a lot on realism, and because of this, it's believable. It's the way that Hiroki Endo envisioned as well as executed this futuristic bleak world, though, that is the most compelling thing about Eden It's an Endless World. And there you have it, guys. These are the 10 series I want to recommend to you guys today. If you're looking for more manga recommendations, be sure to check out all the other videos I have on the channel. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Alright, so that's all the videos that we did for today for the reaction. So like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. If you guys enjoy this, please follow Anime Collective. If you enjoy this, link will be in the description. All that great stuff. So have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters.